喝的书被《时代周刊》评为2015年度世界最棒的25个设计之一，引起全球的广泛讨论。在中国一度登上微博热门话题榜。这本可以当作过滤纸过滤细菌，从而获得干净水源的书，在收获一片叫好声的同时，也让部分公众存在一定疑惑。为此，财新记者通过 Skype 独家视频采访了产品发明者 Teri Dankovich。
I suppose you've got lots of responses from people from all over the world. Many of them think it is a brilliant idea, but there are also some people say it's too good to be true. So I'm wondering if you are faced with questioning of any kind so far.
Most of the response has been overwhelmingly positive, to be honest. There have been some questions about how it compares to other technologies or other ways to treat water, such as water purification via boiling, or how it can remove heavy metals from water, and things like that are the main sorts of questions.
Is it boiling water could have the same effect?
So boiling water is great. It's a great way to clean your drinking water. However, it's not necessarily affordable for everyone. The cost, like some people have firewood available and can use that, but other places there's not too many trees, so people would have to use fuel, and that can be expensive. So that's one of the main reasons why you may not be able to do that to purify your water. I mean, we're talking about people who are really, really poor, not being able to afford this.
You went to Africa to do the experiments. You mentioned in the meeting that the people in some areas are actually doing nothing to filter the water. Could you be more specific on that?
Yeah, it really just depends on where you are. It's not accurate to say that everybody in Africa is doing nothing. It just depends on the communities. Some places it's very little water treatment. Other places you might see people using chlorine tablets, but maybe use it every now and then and not at the right dosage to actually have the proper performance of the tablets. It's highly variable, and that's kind of one of the problems of why there is a lack of access to clean drinking water, because people, they don't necessarily see it as an important thing to do or as a feasible thing to do. So that's what we really hope to address, that because the drinkable book has education printed on the pages, that people will be able to learn from the book itself, and it'll teach people, oh, I really should be doing this. I should be cleaning my water because it'll prevent the spread of diseases like diarrhea or vomiting and so on, and can help my children to be healthier, and will hopefully be a catalyst in the educational side to also increase better habits in terms of not just clean water, but also hygiene, sanitation, and so on. It's designed for removing microbes like bacteria, viruses, protozoa that can cause disease. Heavy metals, you need some sort of pre-filter. We're considering designs that could be a little bit more complicated that could also do that, but at the current version, it cannot do that.
You said the purpose is to make each filter affordable, like 10p. How could it be possible given that it is made of considerably thick paper with silver nanoparticles?
It is possible. Most of the paper itself is it's 99% paper, right? So it depends on, the cost of availability of paper, pulp and paper wherever you're at, but it's a fairly affordable product to begin with. And the processing that's needed for it is a rather simple manufacturing scale up. So we aim to get to that cost. At this point, it's only an estimate, but that we think that it should be achievable.
在被公众疯狂转载的数篇文章标题上写道：“这项发明可以拯救6.63亿人，让7亿人远离死神。”对此 ，Teri 又是如何看的呢？
So that number comes from the World Health Organization, and it's simply the number of people who do not have access to clean drinking water around the world. It's about around 300 and change million in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, I should say. In Asia, it's I think 260 something to close to 300 million, and then the rest are in just other parts of the world. So that number, obviously, it's ridiculous to imagine a single product doing this. That part would be an exaggeration, but obviously there's many different ways that people treat water and can be appropriate to reduce this from 600 million down to a lower number. And that would be really what we would be aiming for, is to try to reduce that number of people that don't have access to clean drinking water to as close to zero as it can go.
Steps are, right now, these papers have been made either by myself or students in the lab, and also in a church kitchen to get it kind of a larger scale. They have larger ovens, there's a heat treatment step. And we want to be able to do this at a much larger production run than just a few hours in a church kitchen here and there.
Do you manage to get into the mass production?
Well, we have a new partner that for the paper company that we've met with a couple of times, and we're going to start the mass production process with. I can't really tell you too much more right now, but we have at least a step forward. And I'm no longer in the church kitchen making these things by hand. So I really hope that with, we're going to start working with this partner like in the next couple of weeks. So we'll get lots of papers out soon.
So you've got enough funding?
Yeah, they've been very generous. I'm not sure what levels to say yet, but to definitely way more than we've done before. So probably thousands of book scale.
Are you going to keep it a non-profit project, or maybe more like a business in the future?
We have decided to do a hybrid structure. So we have Page Drinking Paper as the nonprofit, and we have recently just started a new social enterprise called Folia Water, which we haven't really, we're still in the process of establishing, to be honest, so we don't have a website yet, but we're within the next couple of weeks, we'll get a lot of this stuff available for people to read more about. But Folia Water is going to do the bulk of the tech transfer and technology development aspects, and we'll work with companies and partners, designers, all sorts of people along those lines, where Page Drinking Paper will handle more of the distribution and working in the field.
毫无疑问，这个项目越来越步入正轨，发展越来越成熟。那么接下来的计划会是怎样？会与中国有关吗？
We have some field partners that are located in several African countries, including Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and anyway, a list of sub-Saharan African countries that we've already been to. A couple of the countries, Ghana and South Africa. So I think we'd start with places we're already familiar with to distribute, and we're going to do also some kind of little pilot scale tests where we get a lot of user feedback. So before we do a much wider distribution, so we can tailor, the product to make sure that it's working for these areas first. And we have some new partners that we're going to incorporate into this project this upcoming year. At this point, we need a partner in China, and that hasn't been established yet. We need to know where to go, and like all of those details are not at this point known for our organization. So I have gotten a lot of emails from China, and I've gone through some of them. Honestly, it's been so many that I don't necessarily have the time to go through all of them. So there might be somebody may have already written and says, hey, look, this area right here. But at this point, we're going to engage with people who've contacted us, but it depends, it takes time to develop a relationship with potential future clients. So I can't make any promises, but I would love to work in China as well.